Assalamu alaikum girls. Today the topic which I'm going to teach is relationship of biology to other sciences. Just let me put it somewhere. Okay. Today the topic of our presentation or our lecture is how biology is related to other sciences. The interrelationship among different branches is not a new idea. It's well known, and biology is one of the subjects which is related to different branches of science. You cannot confine different branches of science into a separate category. Somehow they are related to each other. And this is what today's topic is. Uh, we have a lot of information in biology regarding living organisms, regarding the functioning of living organisms. So they are related to physics, chemistry, or other branches of sciences. So we will discuss that in this topic. For example, when we study about the process of movement in animals, it involves the laws of physics. This is going to be included in biophysics. Like our body is following different laws of physics during motion. Not only in motion, in current generation, in neural connectivity, current is involved, which is kind of a different current. It is ionic current. So there we have also principles of physics involved. So this kind of knowledge is called as interdisciplinary sciences, and we will discuss about that in the like different relationship of bio with other sciences. One of that relationship is of biophysics, how bio is related with physics. It deals with the study of principles of physics which are applicable to biological phenomena. As I told you earlier, that laws of motion are applicable to humans. Let's talk about example here. There is a similarity between the working principles of liver in physics and limbs of animals in biology. In previous classes, you have studied first type of liver, second type of liver, and third type of liver. Or maybe some of you haven't studied, but we have seen seesaw as an example. The in a joyland or in a playland, haven't you gone through the ride of seesaw? Seesaw is following the principle of first law of physics, but these levers are applicable in our bodies, in animals' body as well. The first type of liver, second type of liver, and third type of liver are involved in different areas of our body, especially in arm. The movement of arm and in context with the elbow, and the movement of arm in context with the shoulder joint is following these livers, principles of livers in physics. So this is how I am trying to say that bio is related to physics. And there's another example of current neural connectivity that also follows the principle of physics. So these are different categories where we relate bio with physics. Let's talk about the next one, biochemistry, the famous one. Maybe the famous one because I did master's in biochemistry, but my MS is in biomedical sciences. So in biochemistry, we study about chemistry of different compounds and processes occurring in living organisms. Um, in living organisms, thousands of reactions are occurring place, especially at a cell level. I mean, if I talk about the body level, then it becomes too much. But even in a single cell, thousands and thousands of reactions are taking place. That is what chemistry is. I mean, rather, this chemistry is more complex. So the chemical reaction and how one thing is converting into different thing comes under the heading of biochemistry. It becomes biochemistry. It's not just chemistry. The structure of a compound, how a protein molecule looks, how a carbohydrate looks alike, what is the structure of a vitamin, and how we can break the bonds, how we can make bonds, is everything about biochemistry. For example, the study of basic metabolism of photosynthesis and respiration involves the knowledge of chemistry. Up till now, you have only studied single reaction of photosynthesis and single reaction of respiration. Um, like in respiration, you have seen that glucose molecule in presence of oxygen is broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and uh, energy is released. So is the case with photosynthesis, which is the reverse of this reaction, in which carbon dioxide and water reacts together in the presence of sunlight, which is basically absorbing energy, and glucose molecule is synthesized along with oxygen. Now, girls, this is a generalized reaction. Otherwise, photosynthesis and respiration are the processes which involves many reactions. But this is also involving chemistry. This is whenever we study bio, we have to study chemistry as well. So this is the branch of science where you cannot separate chemistry from biology, right? Let's move to the next category where how biology is related to maths. We call it biomathematics or biometry. It deals with study of biological processes using mathematical techniques and tools. So, it's really interesting that you cannot separate maths with any science, whether you talk about physics, chemistry, sociology, psychology, whatever the field of science. Whenever they're going to do scientific investigation or experimentation, they have to present their data by following the principles of maths, by following different equations of maths, techniques of maths. Any research work is not complete without maths. So let's talk about bio. For example, to analyze the data gathered after experimental work, biologists have to apply the rules of mathematics. Whatever the data, whatever the things we collect during experimentation in a scientific process, we have to organize it. Let's talk about very simple equation, principle of maths. For example, when we say that there are 3 patients out of every 10 individuals, it is basically following the principle of ratio. 3 people out of 10. Researchers do research on thousands of individuals. Let's say they did research of malaria on thousands of individuals, and out of them, 700 or 500 people were sick from malaria. 500 out of 1,000 is, you can simplify this data by following the principle of ratio. It is following the principle of 1:2 ratio. Every one individual out of 2 people is suffering from malaria. This is what a very simple example, but you can summarize the data in a very easy way by following the principle of ratio and proportion and average. These simple equations can also summarize data. How can we summarize the implications of maths by following complex mathematical analytical procedures? I'm just focusing on simple one because I'm also not that good in maths. So let's talk about the next. Biogeography. It deals with the study of occurrence and distribution of different species of living organisms. Where different organisms are living in different geographical regions of world. It applies the knowledge of characteristics of a particular geographical region to determine the characteristics of living organisms found there. For example, different organisms are living in desert area or in polar region. You are very familiar. You have studied geography in earlier classes that polar region, North Pole and South Pole, has a totally different environment. It's very cold over there. So the animals and plants living over there are different from the animals and plants living in a desert area. And living in our region, especially, you have also studied tropical rainforests, jungles in your, I'm sorry, tropical rainforest in your course, which is rich in biodiversity. You know, there are lots of plants and animals living there because that geographical region is the one which experiences heavy rainfall because of high temperature. Heavy rainfall and high temperature creates moisture, and that creates an ideal temperature for biodiversity. What I mean from biodiversity is plants and animals. The diversity of living organisms is rich in tropical rainforests. So in this branch, we talk about different animals living in a different area. Like you might have seen different videos on National Geographic related Sahara Desert or the tropical rainforests and polar regions जहाँ पे especially penguins नजर आ रहे होते हैं, and there are certain birds. And I mean, especially in polar regions, we see very few organisms are living, and we can't see plants over there. But there must be a very different kind of plants over there as well. But if we talk about our region is also rich in biodiversity, but not comparable to tropical rainforests. So this is how what we study in biogeography. We apply the knowledge of geography related to bio, which also benefits us. So let's move to the next category, bioeconomics. It deals with the study of organisms from economical point of view. From economical point of view means you have to find out the cost value and profit value of wheat. I'm giving an example, can be calculated through bioeconomics, and benefit or losses can be determined. Whatever the crop you're going to cultivate, you are going to calculate a profit or loss. That is going to be called as bioeconomics. You, whatever the, I mean, business you're going to do in the field of bio, rice or wheat or any kind of fruit field, any kind of staple food, you are going to calculate your profit and loss. How much you have spent, how much you have, how much money you have sold it, and what is the total profit. This is all about bioeconomics. So even we cannot separate economics from biology and economics from any field of science when you're going to do the business. So you have to deal with economical point of view. Let's move to the next. So this is all about relationship of biology to other sciences. Now I'm going to move to careers in biology. These topics are very basic topics. Basically, in these topics, the author is trying to tell you how you can adopt different careers and how you can go on in your life by studying biology. And this is the beginning of our educational career. So it's our duty to inform you what careers you can adopt. It is essential that students of today who will occupy positions of leadership tomorrow have background knowledge of modern and forward-looking branches of sciences. So we have to comprehensively describe you what professions you can adopt. You can be a doctor, you can be a professor, you can be biotechnologist. I will focus here what is mentioned in your book, but later on at the end, I will tell you a little bit more, a little bit new fields in biology, because every field of science is evolving. We are not sticking to the same old fields. Now, all of you are familiar with this profession of medicine or surgery. All of you know we can become doctor by studying biology. The profession of medicines deals with the diagnosis and treatment of diseases in human. Ouch. In this profession, Hamza, please. मैंने आपको बोला था मैं आपको चॉकलेट दूंगी. चलो जाओ. तो पापा के पास जाएं. So in medicine, we talk about the diagnosis and treatment of diseases in human. We diagnose what kind of disease a person has. a person is suffering from, and then doctors talk about treatment. While in surgery, the parts of the body may be repaired, replaced, or removed. In surgery, you're going to do some um, experimental procedure to remove or implant some organ or to repair it, right? But both these professions are dealing with um, uh, studying biology. You have to study these professions by studying the basic course of MBBS, and the students can go for specialization. After FSC or after, all of you can adopt MBBS by going through different experimental, what do you call it, test procedures, right? So this is what we do in medicine and surgery. Distract कर रहे हैं. Next profession is fisheries. Fisheries is the professional study of fish production. There are departments in Pakistan where professionals of fisheries are employed. They serve for enhancing the quality and quantity of fish production. In Pakistan, this profession can be adopted after the bachelor's or master's level of study of zoology and fishing. Now, you can do BSc in zoology and master's level of fisheries, and then you can go for specialization at even higher level. But we have seen some videos in PTV where different professionals of fisheries are working in ponds, like dolphin. Indus dolphin is decreasing in Pakistan. It's almost endangered species in Pakistan. So different professionals of fisheries are adopting technique to improve or to increase the level of dolphin in Pakistan, and different fishes, especially the water in Pakistan is so polluted that we have to adopt very diverse kind of measures to improve water. And this is how we can improve this profession in Pakistan. Hamza, please. उधर दादू आइए जाओ, please. तो in Pakistan, there is profession of fisheries. We only talk about doctors and engineers, but people are working in different institutes like NARC and PARC. What is NARC? National Agriculture Research Center, and Pakistan Agriculture Research Center. You might be saying, "Man, fisheries kahan se aa gaya?" Fisheries, they have different fields. Fisheries is also over there. I have even seen in people who study agriculture, there are fisheries lab, entomology labs, and different kind of labs. All of them are somehow related to agriculture. So people are adopting these professions. Next comes the most famous profession in Pakistan, agriculture. As I told you, people are studying BSc honors in agriculture, MS honors in agriculture in different agricultural universities, and people can adopt this profession after higher secondary education in biology. But what we deal in this profession, we talk about food crops and animals, which are the sources of food. Hamza, मैं आपको chocolate दूंगी 2 मिनट के लिए, 2 chocolates और 5 chocolates. Mama lecture record कर रही हैं, तो please आप disturb नहीं करें. This is the definition of an agriculturist, which works for the betterment of crops like wheat, rice, corn, and animals like buffalo, cow, from which we get food. Now we say, why animals? So these animals are domestic animals, and they are somehow related to this field as well. So they work on crops, and they also work on betterment of domestic animals, right? So agriculture is a field in which is very, I mean, can be adopted a diverse kind of people in Pakistan, because we are one of the agricultural country of world, right? Next, animal husbandry. It is the branch of agriculture concerned with the care and breeding of domestic animals. Example, cattle, sheep, etc. Professional courses in animal husbandry can be adopted after higher secondary education, which is FSC. Again, I have seen animal husbandry lab in agriculture universities, and they talk about all these development of animals and things like that. We can adopt this profession as well, as again we are the country rich in domestic animals. We provide milk to different countries and even in our own country. So people can survive in this field. Horticulture. But the main thing adopting a profession is to go after your profession. Oh, sorry, I mean to go after your passion, whether it's art or science or any kind of different field. You have to be after your passion. So whether it's horticulture or biotechnology or being a doctor, go for it. If I talk about horticulture, it deals with the art of gardening. Art of gardening means you're going to work on the improvement of all those varieties which exist in our gardens. Like a culturist works for the betterment of existing varieties and for the production of new varieties of ornamental plants and fruit plants. Existing varieties means again the one which are existing in the world, and new varieties by improving their genetic makeup, by creating different techniques of biotechnology, or by using genetics, the knowledge of genetics, you can create new varieties of ornamental plants, means decorative plants, जो कि हमारे gardens में होते हैं. Those who serve the purpose of decoration or beautification, and fruit plants. So horticulturists work for the betterment of those decorative plants and fruit plants by improving their genetics, by creating new varieties, right? Very interesting field, and we can adopt it after studying after studying a professional course after FSC. Right? See, farming. It deals with the development and maintenance of different types of farms. For example, animal breeding technologies are used for the production of animals which are better protein and milk source. I mean, in farming, there are poultry farms, fruit farms, different kind of farms. Like in poultry farm, chicken and eggs are produced, while in fruit farms, different fruit yielding plants are grown. So you can adopt different technologies to improve. If we talk about animal farms, we will use different technologies to improve the protein and milk source. What is protein? I mean, we are talking about meat, fish, or mutton or beef. You are adopting different technologies to improve the meat source and milk source. And in fruit forms, you're going to use different techniques of genetics and uh, to and horticulture to improve the production of fruit. Students can adopt this profession by studying professional courses of agriculture, animal husbandry, or fisheries, right? Because there can be a fish farm as well. Different kind of forms exist, so different profession can be adopted by studying these courses. Forestry. In forestry, professionals look after natural forests and advise to the government for planting and growing artificial forests. So they talk about improvement of forests, natural forests existing, and to implement certain laws to stop the cutting of jungles, and to create new laws along with international organizations to implement them. Now, these laws are created over here. We have different organizations in Pakistan too, and they take care of our northern areas and different areas in Pakistan, but still a lot of has to be done to improve these forests, and areas and rules should be implemented. We can adopt this profession by studying forestry after FSC or bachelor level of studies. Again, forestry is a subject also taught in agricultural universities, right? And the whole profession can be adopted. Biotechnology, the one we studied in branches of biology. The branch of biology would deal with the techniques, practical applications of living organisms to make certain substance for the welfare of mankind. So here we are going to talk about techniques in biology using different microorganisms. This special profession can also be adopted after FSC, after higher level of studies in botany or zoology, and there's a whole BSc honors available, course available in universities. I mean, now I have seen BSc honors in biotechnology, and even in MS in biotechnology, you can go for, you can become a professor in universities. You can go in different research fields, like I told you, in NARC, National Agriculture Research Center, and Pakistan Agriculture Research Center. Different biochemists, biotechnologists, geneticists are working. And there's a very famous institute of genetics in Faisalabad, NIPG. Yeah, I went there when I was doing MSc. So it's a long time, that's why I forgot. But NIPG is such a good institute in Pakistan, um, hiring biotechnologists, biochemists, geneticists. So research is also a main field in biology and very inspiring and innovative field. You can go anytime. Oh, this is the last field. So I must tell you, I told you about geneticists, I told you about the institute NIPG, NARC, PARC, but this is not the world, whole world. We can go abroad, we can adopt any profession. My sister was telling about, who lives abroad, she was telling me about the future in science. She's a engineer, but she was telling me some about some lecture, and where were people were talking about sim क्या कह रहे हैं आजकल आप सुन रहे हैं about chips implanting in humans, which can track humans. They can track about their diseases. So she was talking about that people are going to do research regarding certain emotion controls, like chips ki wajah se you can also, you will be able to control your feelings, like you want to be happy or you want to relax, you can initiate that feeling. It looks terrible, but I don't know what future beholds. But there is an amalgam of biology and engineering. As I told you, I did MS in biomedical sciences, where I studied different subjects relevant to engineering as well. As I'm a scientist, so as I'm a biologist, so I got the degree of biomedical sciences. But those who were engineers, they got the degree of biomedical engineering. So biomedical engineering is such an emerging field where you amalgam biology with engineering techniques, and you can create biosensors, chips. When you're going to implant a chip in a living organisms, you must have a knowledge of biology. So this is what bioengineering, biomedical engineers who can create blood pressure machine, which is very old. Blood pressure machine आपने देख ली है, देखी होंगी, जो कि blood pressure calculate कर लेती हैं. And then there are different machines which biomedical engineers create, and then future is now towards biologists, because a phone or laptops kitne improve honge. Now it is going to be something controlled by our eyes, having a screen or something controlling your emotions, biochips. So I encourage you to go to the field of biomedical engineering as well. I mean, the bio is not limited to these professions which I have taught. There are so many other things. I could go on for next 10 minutes, but you can listen my kids speaking in the background. So Allah Hafiz for now. We can discuss these professions later on, and you can even ask me questions regarding these professions, and I will answer you. We can answer them on WhatsApp or live, up to you. Allah Hafiz for now.